Hello, I'm Rick Sheldhouse, and because things on the internet seem to lose their date references pretty quick, today is Thursday, February 8th, 2024. It's been raining, as I've addressed on a couple of the other model railroading videos. It's been raining in Southern California for a couple of weeks now. Right now we are at about 4.9 inches since February 1st, and our property normally gets 9 to 11 inches of rain a year, and since February 1st we're at 4.9. Some major flooding issues in the Southern California area, landslides and sinkholes and whatever else, people being flooded out of their homes. We aren't. Our home is protected against that using common sense. So because we can't do yard work, because we can't work outside, can't work on the house outside, whatever, we decided to take out our model railroads, and today we're running our N scale. And as I addressed in another one of the videos, our N scales, like our HO, are DC. There's a new mode out there, DCC, new mode. It's probably been out there for 20 years. I don't follow it. Our N scales are DC, and if you go to a swap meet or on eBay, you can buy these engines for probably $5 or less. I have purchased a couple of N scale DC engines for $5 at swap meets, and they were in mint condition. I don't have the expensive stuff. I will show you what the expensive stuff looks like. And what the controller looks like, and then you'll see why I don't have it. I don't have a whole lot of N. We did pick up some stuff in Japan while we were stationed there for 5.5 years because we were riding them, and we were riding these particular trains. So let's get on with the N scale, and the N scale is the smallest I want to go. I have looked at Z, which is even smaller. It's also referred to occasionally as suitcase scale, because you can put a big layout in Z because the equipment's really small. So let's get on with it. Hope you enjoy it. We love model railroading. We love railroading, top to bottom. Doesn't matter. Let's get on with it. Hope you enjoy the video. Thanks for watching.
These are two of the common DCC, digital command and control, I think is what it stands for, systems. And with these you have track voltage is common, and you're sending command codes, computerized command codes through the track, carrier wave is what it's called, to a module inside the engine itself. So you can have 2, 3, 4, 5 units on the same track, same electrical block, and you can have them doing different things. They're not locked like they are with the cheap transformers like the ones I use. And a couple of the engines, the options you have when you buy them, what's called DCC operational, it's the one on the left and the one on the right, $255 for that steamer, $198 for the diesel. Now the second one, the Bachmann, the EMD SD40-2, says DCC ready. It's only $111. When you buy the one for $111, you still have to buy the module, which is, I guess, $80, $90. Take the engine apart, put the module in, test it, set it up, put it back together, and then put it on your tracking unit. That $70, $69 Thomas thing is just a toy. We don't have a lot of N, and I'll start with the US stuff. So this lifelike GP40 Burlington, it ran nice, and I don't have a big layout. I picked up N because of Japan. We could get the train, you'll see at the end of this, in Japan in N, but we could not get it in any other scale. So here goes the GP40 Burlington Northern. I have two EMD GP40s from the chassis system, Chesapeake and Ohio, and the second one is sitting up on the back. And one of them had a little bit of a problem trying to stay on the track. I'm not quite sure why, but they ran really nice. These were another pickup at a swap meet. The guy was converting his system over to DCC, and whatever the price was, it was reasonable, so it wasn't very much, and now they're on my system. This is one of the trains we picked up in Japan, and as I'm talking on the video, we lived in an urban area. We lived in Yokohama and Yokosuka, and we didn't see very many, if any, freight trains running on their passenger rail lines. And this particular engine we did see frequently around the area we lived in, carrying maintenance cars for track maintenance and stuff like that. And when you got up along the freight lines, you would see this guy here, and we set him up with a small consist representative of cars we actually saw in Japan. Generally, you don't see freight trains running on the passenger rails that we rode to and from work, and another derail. Oh, a big derail. So on the passenger lines that we ran, I don't think we ever saw a freight train. Occasionally we'd see a track maintenance train, and most of the freight trains we did see on the other tracks were electric, because we were in an urban area. When we flew over the rural areas, occasionally we would see diesels and occasional steam engine, but from 10 or 12,000 feet, you can't see a whole lot of detail of a moving train below you. So this is representative of a urban Japanese freight train. A Japanese freight train. Most of the trains in the urban area of Japan are electric. This guy here is electric. His gear is down because we don't have overhead. We're powered by the track, and it's very breakable. But we would see freight trains, and they generally don't ride on, and I got a derail, a Japanese steamer, and I hooked them up to the consist from the electric. The electric was interesting. You probably didn't notice it, but it has the locomotive unit. The electric locomotive unit has 3 trucks of 2 axles or 3 axles each. And this little steamer is one of the N that we picked up in Japan, and we used to go to a hobby shop that was in the Yokohama train station, the main train station in Japan, down on like the 6th or 7th basement. So a Japanese steamer, an 060, and he's just running around going nuts on his little loop. We don't have a whole lot of N
N is really big in Japan. In my opinion, it's just a little bit too small. Very sensitive. This track really needs to be put down, engaged. Make sure that the rails are properly apart. That's probably what's causing some of this stuff. I don't expect to get very deep into N. It's just, in my opinion, it's just too small. And I'm going to stop this guy and put my hand behind him. So this guy's pretty small. Now I'm going to start him again. And he's off and running. N is really popular in Japan because you can make a really big layout in a very small area. This is the same train that we rode when we lived in Japan in Negishi Heights from the Yokohama station to Negishi station. And we bought it while we were in Japan, specifically because we rode it. And it's a fun train to... Japan has a fantastic rail system and public transportation system. Not quite like we have. Ours is pretty much a disaster if you live in a rural area. And we live in a rural area. To go the 30 miles southwest of where we live to downtown San Diego takes about 3.5 hours via public transportation. It's utterly ridiculous. You can drive it in 40 minutes, 45 minutes. Anyways, this is one of our few passenger trains, and it's because we rode it between Yokohama Station in Japan and Negishi Station in Japan.
We don't have a lot in N, and I don't intend to get a lot in N. I just think it's too small. But one of the things N does need is the track needs to be anchored. This is just sitting there. Some of the track is bent. The cars have maybe the track isn't gauged correctly all the way around. I didn't check it. I just put it up and then started running. Obviously had problems. I enjoy N. I'm not going to buy any more N, but you can take small spaces and build very beautiful layouts in N, and I appreciate the people that do. I'm just not going to do it. And this is the closing shot of the train that we rode in Japan frequently. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. We just love model railroading. We love trains, period.